You're listening to Gameday Tarps podcast, coast to coast, with your hosts, Ryley, Dakota, Dallas, Daeden, and Wilbs.
Welcome back, everyone, to episode 47 of the Gameday Tarps podcast. Today we have two very special guests coming on, two ex-Windsor Spitfires over the OHL, James Jodoin and Jacob Maillet. We would just want to say thank you to those guys for joining before we get into it. And as always, follow us on social medias at Gameday Tarps podcast, at Wilbs Puck, and at Blue Nose Hockey. So without further ado, let's get into this one.
Here's a chance for Jodoin. Jodoin! Scores! Maillet on the right side. On goal! Scores! There you go, Maillet. Strikes it by three. Jodoin! Got the pass, there's a shot, he scored! Wow! Does he have some room to left to the net? The way scores! Spitfires win the overtime!
Now O'Mara across the blue line, shot up by Jodoin, scores!
All right, everyone, welcome back. As we mentioned, we have two awesome guests coming on today, James Jodoin and Jacob Maillet. Thank you guys very much for coming on. Ex-Windsor Spitfires. Obviously, Dallas, you're from Windsor. You connected with these gents. But again, thank you for coming on.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us out.
We basically just want to talk your guys' youth. Either one of you can talk. Obviously, Jodoin, you're from Oakville. And then Maillet, you're from Hamilton. So why don't we go over, your youth growing up, what it was like in minor hockey.
You got it, Joes.
Yeah, so for me, it was a bit of it was fun. I played in Oakville growing up. It was a pretty small town. I played in the GTHL for a couple of years and then switched over to the OMHA, played against Maillet. Growing
Nice.
up, actually, he was always on the Bulldogs, but he'll get more into that later. But yeah, it was fun. I had a couple good years with my team in the Oakville Rangers. I played actually up one year with the O2 group. I was with I played on Evangelista's team. He was on
Nice.
he was on that team, so that was a fun year. But yeah, no, a lot of good memories growing up. Couple tournament wins. My draft year, we were like pretty brutal. We were like bottom 3 the whole year. Mailet's team would spank us every game. But yeah, other than that, that was pretty much it for
Nice.
minor hockey.
Yeah. I started in the OMHA and played for the Hamilton Junior Bulldogs all the way from novice to minor midget. So I was there the whole time, and obviously I could have gone to the G like if I wanted to, but I thought staying home and playing with my buddies and it was just something I'd rather do. And yeah, it was fun. We had some good teams. Obviously got to play Jodes like you said, and we had some good matchups. But yeah, it was fun. I liked playing for the Junior Bulldogs. Good.
James, how was your experience in the OHL Cup?
Oh, the OHL Cup, it was really fun. We didn't make it past the quarterfinals. Quentin Byfield's team actually beat us like 3-1 or something. He was on York Simcoe. Yeah, I was playing a year up for that team, and I didn't get much ice time in that tournament, but it was honestly like a sick atmosphere to be in, just seeing like all the scouts and everything. Like every game was packed. Yeah, it was a fun environment for sure.
So you boys are definitely on to university hockey these days. How's that been treating you lately, boys?
Yeah, I mean, I'm out in Nova Scotia, so it's it's a little ways from home, but It's been pretty good. I mean, it's obviously really good. Like it's still really good hockey, and there's a lot of skill, and it's been really competitive. But yeah, just getting back into school, I think's been the hardest part because I was kind of took a break when I was in the O. So getting back to like going to class and just finishing exams was kind of tough. But yeah, I mean, adjusting once you get all that stuff figured out, it's been pretty fun.
Nice. Daeden here is actually from Nova Scotia.
Oh, really?
I was just gonna ask. You said you just got home for the holidays. Did you end up getting any of that snow before you left?
No, I honestly haven't seen anything, and I'm in like Antigonish. I don't know if you know where that is or whatever, but yeah, it's just been raining so much. But I think when I get back, that's when the snow's gonna hit. So, uh,
No, I guess James, I got a question for you actually. I know you play for TMU. I
Yeah.
actually broadcast for U of T, so might end
Really?
up seeing you at the school day game. Uh, how has like the CHL's scholarship program kind of opened up another door for you, like for that career path after junior hockey?
Yeah, what the CHL does for like people who are trying to go and extend their academic careers as well as also play hockey is really good. Like they give you a certain amount of money depending on which type of contract you got with the OHL or with the CHL when you were playing there. So it's a really good thing because a lot of guys maybe don't have the money to go to school after they're done playing those years. So yeah, it's good for guys like just trying to go and get a degree to just further their education, like set themselves up for the future. It's always a good thing. But now with like the NCAA thing switching around, I don't think many guys are going to be caring about the OUA and like the Canadian University hockey. I think guys are going to be more motivated to try to go D1 with the NCAA.
Yeah, 100%. I agree on that with you. It's unfortunate for like U sports in Canada, but that's the way it's gonna
Yeah.
go, I think.
Yeah, it's the league. From my point of view, I don't know if you guys will agree with this, but I think that the OUA and every league coming out of the CHL that's in Canadian university hockey won't be a good league in like a couple of years from now because
Yeah.
all the top guys that maybe were right there with signing a contract to go pro, they're just going to go D1 now, and they're going to do the same thing just in NCAA, and it's obviously way better hockey in NCAA. Everyone knows that it's like pretty much right under there with like the AHL and other pro leagues like that. So
For sure.
yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, too, with like Div 2, right? You wonder, is Div 2 going to be even better hockey than any of the Canadian options, right? Like, so it's going to be a weird stretch to see what exactly happens here. And I wanted to kind of segue that and not ask you guys if you're planning on this, but they just came out apparently with anyone who has CAS eligibility that's done 1 or 2 years or has finished 1 or 2 years is going to be allowed to have 4 full years of eligibility in the NCAA still. So you could take your 2 years you've already done and make it 6. So again, not saying you're jumping ship from Canada, but just what are your thoughts kind of on the potential to get a 4 year scholarship down in the States and continue on potentially in Div 1?
yeah.
Taylor?
I mean, obviously it's something that you think about, and like obviously it's kind of weird still, like knowing you can switch. I mean, I wish it came out last year. Me and Joe's are both overages. It would have made everything a little more easier, but
For sure.
yeah, obviously it's pretty good, and like Joe's is saying, how U Sports is definitely going to take a hit. I think over the next couple of years, but yeah, I don't know. It's something I thought about. Haven't really made any decisions yet, but it's something that you can look into for sure.
We'll take it back a little bit, back to the O. Obviously, both your boys' OHL careers were mostly spotlighted with Windsor. Um, as a fan, we could say, for us, on the calendar circled, a lot of the rivalry games were probably big for us, like, the Londons and stuff. But as players out there, what games in the schedule was circled the most for you guys to want to go out there and play the most? Like, was it like a Kitchener, a Barrie, a London? Like, as a player standpoint, what would you say was the games you look forward to the most during the season?
I don't know about Maillet, but for me, it was definitely against London.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'd say
and
the same.
yeah, London we've always had a rivalry against every year. that I was there, and like years prior. It's always just I don't know what happened, how it started, but it's always like a bloodbath every time we play them. Like just hard hitting, a lot of penalties, a lot of guys just getting in fights and stuff, and that's like the most exciting hockey to me, in my opinion. Also, just like every home game where there's like a special event in Windsor, that was like always fun for me. Just going there, knowing everyone's gonna like be in a good mood, and like all the fans are into it more. Like rather than like a weird like two o'clock afternoon Sunday game. So yeah. What about you, Moore?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the London games. I think just because London's always so good, so I think you just always want to beat those guys. But I don't know. Really, any team in the West was kind of like that you're battling with in standings and stuff was always just something you get pumped up for. We play Flint and Sag a lot too, so I felt like even those games, you just want to beat them by a lot, just because you hate them, right? Playing them so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I guess that's it.
So you guys were
You
both
definitely got to.
drafted, sorry, Dally, by separate teams.
Oh,
What was that kind of process looking like when you guys were younger and offered trades to Windsor or were told you were traded to Windsor? What kind of was that like for both of you? And then obviously growing this friendship once you got there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I got drafted by Guelph in the OHL draft, and then I was there for I guess my rookie year, and then COVID, and then a bit of my third year, and then I kind of knew I was getting or traded. Kind of, I mean, I kind of wanted out of Guelph as well, just because I wasn't playing much, and I obviously wanted to go somewhere where I could play more. But yeah, I don't know. One day I just got called into the office, and I heard some teams, but I didn't hear Windsor, so it was kind of like I was kind of surprised when they said Windsor really wants you, and I was like, all right, let's do it. Like let's get the trade happening and stuff. So then went there, and then yeah, everything once I got there was pretty good. And first guy I walked in and I seen was Jodes as soon as I walked into the building. So that was kind of nice because I knew Jodes from playing against him and playing with him and different things. So that was pretty funny. But yeah, I mean, ever since my time in Windsor, it's been I loved it right from the start and was thankful for all the time I had there.
Yeah. For me, I was always I got drafted by Windsor, so I was there for the whole time until like overage year. I went over to Trenton, played with the Golden Hawks, but other than that, no, I was with Windsor, and it was honestly Mailer was a good guy that we brought in that I connected to right away, just because like we've had a rivalry growing up. Like I was always having to cover him whenever we would play each other in minor hockey, so I kind of knew him a little bit, not much, but like yeah, we definitely developed a good friendship that we'll keep having good times for. We've definitely had a couple fun times in the past.
Awesome.
that's awesome, gents. And Jacob, you're actually reunited in U hockey with another ex teammate, Alex Christopoulos. How's that been so far?
Yeah, it's been pretty good. We actually we live together, so it's been pretty good. He's having a great year so far. So yeah, it's fun. It's fun living with that guy, and yeah, we've developed a friendship over the years too. So it's great.
It was definitely a sad day for Windsor fans. When he got traded to Saginaw, but you couldn't have been more happier to see him hoist that Memorial Cup with the Saginaw Spirit. That was pretty awesome, and I'm sure he was just absolutely ecstatic about that. I'm sure he texted you boys too.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
he brings it up every day. So
Yeah, he rubs it in our face
yeah,
constantly.
he doesn't go a day without telling us he won a member. So it's good. But yeah, like you said, he's a good player and he's a good guy. So we're happy for him.
Nice. And yeah, when the three of you boys were playing together in 2022, like, that was a really big series against Hamilton. Like, it only brought you boys closer. Like, what was like some of your favorite memories from that playoff run that you could probably say off the top of your head?
Got it, Jones?
Uh, for me, I don't know. There was a lot. There was a lot that happened. It was a big battle. I think just like that game one of that Hamilton series, they were like undefeated in the playoffs so far that in that round. In that run that they had, and just getting that confidence boost going into their barn, beating them, like that was insane. I still like sometimes go back and look at the watch the videos on that, and like there was one video of our social media guy filming us like in the hallway, coming down the hallway after getting off the ice, and all the boys were just so pumped up. Like Mailer put his face right up to the camera and was screaming at the camera. It was a fun time. That was pretty much like the best part for me, and just being with the boys every day, going through that war was like so fun in my opinion.
Yeah, and it was also like that season was so long because of COVID, and like we were basically playing. I think we were playing like end of June was the final. So like the weather in Windsor was so nice, and between like games, or we were playing like every other day. So the off days we were like practicing obviously, and then chilling at the beach with all the guys and doing whatever. It was such a good time.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And for both of you, really, it seemed like 2022, 2023 was kind of both your guys' year. Like you both kind of had your career years in Windsor. Maybe go through that year for yourselves and what that was like, kind of just thriving the way you guys were.
Yeah, I think the series against Hamilton the year before gave me a lot of confidence going into going into my next year. I felt pretty good overall and was excited with our team because we obviously still had a really good team, and I think we all believe that if we come in ready that we're going to be a top team, and yeah, we finished first obviously that year in the playoffs are a different story, but it was it was a good year overall, and yeah, just using that confidence coming in I think really helped me.
Yeah, same for me too. And just the fact that we played so long, it went pretty much into like July. We pretty much, if I remember correctly, we only had like a 7 or 8 week off season, which when it's normally like 4 months. So it was pretty nuts. It was pretty much like we never really got out of shape or out of the groove of like playing hockey all the time. So just coming right back in, knowing like we had like all pretty much all the same guys, only a couple guys left, and we made some good trades at the deadline. Like we got Shane Ray, a couple other like really nasty guys. But yeah, that series against Kitchener was definitely something that's a touchy subject.
Yeah, I would think
For
so.
sure.
You don't have to go into it, but what was the room kind of like as that series was going on? Like we obviously you just ran into a good team at the wrong time. Sometimes it just is what it is. But what was the mentality in the room? Game 1, game 2, game 3, the belief you guys had in the group and everything like that.
Yeah, I think all series we're still confident in our group. Like even when we were down 2-0, 3-0, like we still I don't think anyone gave up and was like like it's over. We still had that belief, but yeah, Kitchener obviously just they came in ready to play and did a good pre-scout on us, and they were just locking us down pretty good, and I don't know, we couldn't get much going all series, and yeah, but I don't know, like Joe, I don't know, Joe's what do you think?
Their systems. I don't know. They just like knew our game better than we even knew our game. I think they definitely weren't better than us. They just like shut us down in every part of the game. They knew all of our top guys. They did like probably like a couple weeks of video straight on us, and
Yeah,
just knew every single play, every single system like the back of their hand. And like credit to them, they battled hard. We
Yeah,
definitely went in there cocky, just because didn't we set like Mailer? Didn't we set like a record for like most wins or something in that year or something?
I don't know, I don't know, well, we finished first back-to-back years, so I don't think that was
yeah.
pretty big, but
Yeah,
I'm
we
not too
finished
sure.
first back to back years. We just didn't. I don't. I feel like we just didn't like. We were
We
like,
beat Kitchener all year too. Like I don't think they beat us one game in the
yeah,
regular season. Like we just, I don't know. They felt like such a different team in the playoffs than regular season. So
yeah. We almost like couldn't believe like when we lost that fourth game. It almost like didn't make sense in my brain. It felt like we were still like gonna go on this huge run, like
yeah,
win
Yeah,
it all. It didn't sink in for like a couple days. I think for me.
I
yeah,
bet. And kind of going off that, if you think about the teams, right, you guys were in first. Whoever you were going to play, it was probably kind of a rotating door between Kitchener, third place, fifth place, right? Like whoever was all going to be in that slot. Uh, and then, but they knew if they got in, they were playing you, right?
yeah,
Well,
So
they were
like,
an eight seed.
or eight, sorry, eight. It's not 1 to 4. It's, yeah. I always think West and East, but so it's 1 versus 8. So they knew if they were getting in, they were playing you for who knows how long, right? So their video guys in the background, outside of their everyday game prep, they were watching you guys more than any other team. So it's definitely not a surprise. And you guys didn't know who you were playing, right? Up until basically the end of the season, because 8th place is always such a flip-flop. You never know who's going to fall, who's going to rise. So I get how the prep definitely went in their favor, knowing you guys were in the lead for so long.
Yeah. Yeah, it seemed like we didn't come down from first place for like months.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty wild. I think we just had so much cockiness to us. Like we honestly probably didn't think we had any chance of losing, and then lost game 1. We were like, oh, that's just a little bump in the road. Lost game 2. Oh, we'll get it back, boys. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Game 3. Boys, what's going on? Like, this is a little weird. And then like all that pressure going into game 4 might have just bit us in the ass, because we were like, we have to win now 4 games in a row against a team that's hungry, that's in our face, that's like not letting us get any chances, like giving us nothing.
That barn was pretty hard to play in. They were so loud that whole series, or those 2 games in pitch.
Boys, you guys know well enough as players, but even as fans, like, you know, on the road, the odd is probably one of the hardest burns to play in. 100,000%.
It's wild.
Yeah, it was tough for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not only that, right now you look at the next series, and you would have had to win 8 of 11, right, to then win that next round. Like, that definitely just, you know, you don't want to think about it, but it gets in your head, and it builds up quick, and all of a sudden you're like, holy crap, like, this is all of a sudden a task. It wasn't a coast like we thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember how we made history now. It was the first time ever that an 8 seed sweeped a
Oh, dude, come on.
Dallas told me don't bring that up. He told me don't bring that up. I'm just kidding. I remember as a fan, he was definitely heated.
Hey man, the players are the ones bringing it up here on the pod, so
I know.
But no, it was still good though. That was still a good year. You know, a lot of memories made for sure.
Yeah.
Regardless of how the playoffs went, though, boys, right?
Yeah.
I remember I was there for the Kitchener game on the 11th. It was the last meeting of the year. You know, Shane Wright had the Hattie. One of the boys on Kitchener, Gabe Greentree, a really dirty check. He had to leave the game. It was just rowdy. I know fans in the stands were pretty wound up. I'm sure, you know, the benches were barking at each other, too. Like, you guys were kind of just really setting up that big battle in the playoffs, for sure, towards the end of March.
Yeah. No, we definitely had a it's honestly, for me, Kitchener felt more like a rivalry than London at some points. But yeah.
Yeah, Kitch also, they finished 8th, but they made like 4 big trades at the deadline. Like they were still pushing for it. Like usually you're in that spot, you're kind of a seller, but they started buying, I think, more than most. I mean, we bought a lot obviously that year too, but I think it was like us and them who bought the most players and whatever at the deadline. So
yeah, they weren't a true 8 seed when it came down to it.
This one's for James. You know, you're a real tough customer out there, 6'4" D-man out there. But, like, was it known throughout the know that, you know, you're one tough SOB? When your line is out there, does a lot of the players on the opposing team try not to pull any stunts when your line's out there?
Go in your corners.
Because you had some pretty good tilts out there.
Yeah, thank you.
Spits.
I appreciate that. No, honestly, like, it was weird. Sometimes I would, like, just not understand why nothing would ever happen, like when I was on the ice. I'm not trying to be cocky or anything, but like I wanted stuff to happen on the ice because it would give me an excuse to go and like start some stuff.
Yeah.
But like it was very rare that something would happen when I was on the ice. Like versus like if like one of our smaller defensemen were on the ice. Like it was weird. I don't know. But yeah, I guess it might have been known a little bit around the rink. Maybe Mailer could pump my tires a little bit there.
Yeah, no, I was, dude. I was gonna say, I love when Jodes played with me because I just knew that, you know, wherever I go, if I got hit, or he was right behind me, and you know he was gonna beat those guys up. So I love playing with Jodes for that reason. It was nice.
Thanks, man.
I got you.
Literally the best kind of teammate right there that sticks up for you, right?
Exactly.
We'll go for it, Tilly, for you, no problem.
I got his back too. He knows that.
Yeah.
Zero
He
career
did get in a
fights,
couple
but
jobs.
I'd get in there.
Yeah, well, you're a big guy, man, and honestly, it is intimidating. So, I am nowhere near the player you guys were. I was playing as like an AP for our KI team, the Camel Storm here, and we were in Princeton, and one of our guys went across the blue line offside, but he crossed the line, and the 6'7" D-man just pumped him, like just flattened him. And I was 16 years old, closest guy. I was like, oh man. Gloves
Did you
down.
go?
Gloves down. Absolutely obliterated. Just
God.
dummy. But hey, it earns you the respect, right? Like sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. But yeah, no, looking at him was like, this sucks. This is gonna absolutely suck. There was no confidence going against a huge motherfucker out there, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So I can tell you
I would
it's
be
there.
scared of that.
Yeah. Like I'm at least 6 foot, but even a couple inches and it's a different story. Reach, height, all of it. When you're fighting like this, you know you're
Yeah.
toast.
7 inches on you though. That's
Yeah.
like that's intimidating. I would
He was
not. I
big.
would be scared myself.
Yeah. And he was obviously like 18, 19, 20-year-old. So everything was just off. It was all off.
Do you remember who he was? Who that guy was?
No, I don't know. I didn't know him at all.
Fuck. Should see if he's still playing.
True.
Maybe. He might be. Jacob, my next one for you, buddy, is your last year you split Windsor, Ottawa. You want to go through that kind of trade, what that situation was like? And obviously you basically split the year in half, both points-wise and games-wise. So what was that kind of like going to Ottawa for you?
Yeah, I mean, in Windsor we were having a tough year and we were in last place, so I kind of knew I was gonna get traded at the deadline, and I was here in Ottawa, Brantford, London, like they all needed an overager, so I was hearing different things, and then I ended up getting traded on the overager deadline day in the morning. So
Yep.
like I knew I was getting traded that day, so I woke up, like I put my ringer on. I was like, I'm just gonna wake up to whoever calling me about it.
Yep.
So I woke up to my agent calling me saying, "You're going to Ottawa," and I was actually like, I know I heard them, but I wasn't fully sure. And then that day, that was such a long day because I was like, okay, like, do I get to like chill for the day and then like, or like not chill, obviously just get ready and go the next day. And he's like, no, they want you to fly out this night. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, I got a lot to do. So I think it was like 10 or 11 or something. I packed all my stuff, threw it in the car. I went and said bye to some people and then drove home, went right to the airport, flew into Ottawa that night, and then practiced at, like in Ottawa, we practice so early. It's like 8 a.m. practices. So it was practice right in the morning and then basically just right into it. And so it was a pretty quick transition, I guess. And it kind of took me a while to get like going there a bit. I started off pretty slow, like point wise. And then I started picking it up and had some good weeks. And then into the playoffs, we ended up beating Brantford, who was the third seed, and we were the sixth. So that was a pretty big win. And then we ran into Oshawa, who was obviously a pretty good team, and they ended up beating us. But yeah, I like my time in Ottawa. It was obviously brief, but it was I got a lot of good buddies there now, and whatever. So it was a good time.
Awesome. And actually, just what you said there, I didn't know. So I thought that like all the teams across the CHL had set practice times that they all had to abide by. These coaches could go 8 a.m. if they wanted, or like 2 in the afternoon if they want. Okay, I didn't know that. I thought it was like a standard set based off school timing and stuff.
Yeah, well, they like in Windsor we had a pretty chill kind of schedule. Like Jodes can touch on it after, but we were just like usually we practice around like 2 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
But so like usually had the mornings to kind of chill and do whatever. But in Ottawa we were right in the morning, and then the guys that had school would go to school right after for like 11 or 10. So they got everything done pretty early there. So it was a little different.
Fair enough.
Yeah, Windsor was definitely more chill than what Mailer was describing to me when he was in Ottawa. It was just like in Windsor, it was honestly pretty chill. We had Mark Savard as our head coach for like those 2 years, like the big 2 years, like back to back first place, and he definitely had a different way to go about things, but it worked. Like it worked really well. He was more so like work on specific things individually in the gym if you want. Like it was more so optional workouts and stuff, and then The on ice stuff was just like a lot of systems, a lot of chill stuff. It wasn't a lot of bag skates, not a lot of hard stuff. Like more so just keeping the legs fresh, which like I enjoyed that a lot for just because you're not having to like grind every single day. But no,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah,
Savard,
Mailer said it was-
Savard. I was gonna say Savard was really good with us, like listening to what we wanted and stuff. So, like I don't know, he kind of just let us be, and but obviously if we had a bad game, you knew that next practice it was just gonna be battle drills and whatever. So he kept us pretty glued on everything, which is good.
definitely.
Yeah, I guess if you're going to have an ex-NHLer as your coach, it depends on what kind of generation they played in the league, right? You're either going to get Patty Waugh, who is just like as strict as can be, or you're going to get a guy like Savard, who you could tell even in his playing days, he was more of like a loose guy, right? He liked to be flow, not so much strict, right? Like he was always just a dude that was out there playing with the flow of the game. Whereas obviously Waugh being a goalie, it was like dialed in.
Exactly.
Definitely.
I got one last one here for both you gentlemen. Going back to Windsor, here on the show, we used to do a thing. We'd rate jerseys and stuff. But from a player's perspective, what was like the nicest jersey that you boys have ever worn throughout your career so far?
I'd say the alternate jerseys, the blue ones there that you got behind you, the W
Oh,
one.
nice, yeah.
Yeah,
They're
those
pretty
are
fire.
those are so clean. When we wore those, I felt like better overall as a player. Like I was like the jersey was giving me like extra attributes. Like I felt so clean in them. It was, I don't know, that was my favorite by
Bump up a
far.
couple overalls.
Yeah,
Right
exactly.
on.
Literally though, they were so clean. I love those jerseys.
I'd honestly have to agree with that. I think it's the same thing. Can you take it off your wall real quick?
Yeah, I could.
I just want to like look at it. I miss those things.
That's your jersey, bro. That's yours right there.
Is it?
Oh.
77, no?
Oh, yeah, right there. Oh, I'm pointing the wrong way, boys. Yeah, right there.
Yeah. Man,
No, the cream color instead of like the white is so nice too on those jerseys.
Like I would rock that out on like a bar night.
Well, then you had these ones too, boys. Like they literally did like what the NHL did, like a retro reverse. They just inverted the colors because Windsor used to wear these bad boys. So
yeah,
these were pretty fucking fire too. We know the Taylor Hall era.
Yeah, those are clean.
Yeah, you got a lot of jerseys back there, eh?
Oh, dude. My bank account hates me, to be honest with you, gents.
He's got a mortgage in hockey jerseys.
I got bins on bins full of jerseys.
Holy!
He's always sending us signed jerseys that come up on marketplaces and stuff for pretty cheap that he's looking at. Lots of jerseys out there.
Or I'll just get them in an auction too.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Well,
you run a hockey podcast, so you got to have the apparel, the flair for the show.
Exactly.
Yeah, I see what you're saying there, James, and we appreciate you boys coming on. We will definitely wrap it up here after about 30 minutes. Couldn't ask for more of you gentlemen. So awesome to get guys who had an awesome career in the OHL at multiple different levels and doing different things. Just again, appreciate you both so much for coming on, and we look forward in hopefully the future to have you on again.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for having us.
Thanks, gentlemen. Much appreciated.
Yeah, you guys are doing good stuff here. I like it. I'll definitely keep watching the pods in the future, and yeah, maybe me and Mailer can make a second round in like a year now.
Let's do it. Sounds great.
Much appreciated.
Yeah.
Alrighty, thanks, Jacob. Thanks, James, once again. Thanks so much, guys.
Yeah, thank you. See you guys later.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to episode 47 of Gameday Tarps podcast. Thank you to James and Jacob for coming on and joining us. What a fun time that was. Two of the best dudes you could have on. Just awesome hockey guys. Again, we really appreciate them. And before you check out, please leave us a follow and a subscription at Gameday Tarps podcast. Follow Daeden at Blue Nose Hockey and Wilbs at Wilbs Puck. And we'll see you guys in episode 48 of the Gameday Tarps podcast.